Bonjour and welcome to this video. This video was created in conjunction with a conference paper titled A Faculty Guided Continuous Improvement Regimen with ABET Student Outcomes Scaffolding. This continuous improvement, let's call it a CI regimen, was developed several years ago by the Mechanical Engineering Department at Temple University in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. At its core, the CI regimen consists of 7 committees, one dedicated committee for each of the 7 ABET student outcomes. Each committee consists of 3 to 4 faculty, and the committee has oversight responsibility for its designated student outcome, including carrying out assessments and recommending program remediations. The many practical considerations that arise when implementing the CI regimen are discussed in the conference paper. This video, on the other hand, is not about the nuts and bolts of the CI regimen in operation. Instead, this video describes the circumstances that initiated the development of the CI strategy. So the following video is in effect the backstory of how it all came about, or as we say in showbiz, the prequel. Once upon a time, there was an engineering program whose faculty, at the end of every semester, submitted a score for every student in every section of every course that they had taught during that semester. They submitted the score into a centralized computer-based assessment management system. The faculty were required also to input a brief accounting of how they had improved the class to demonstrate continuous improvement. The computer-based management system was so automated, faculty rarely thought about it. Everyone just assumed that this system was what ABET wanted. Then the experts, the ABET program evaluators, or PEVs, paid a visit. The ABET PEVs explained Criterion 4 in a meeting that they had arranged with the department chair and the undergraduate program coordinator. Your program is doing course level assessment. Well, I guess so. Your program should be doing program level assessment. Oh. Continuous improvement is a program-level process, and the objective is to elevate your graduates' attainment specifically in the student outcomes. The program coordinator was quite concerned. To the program coordinator, let's call this individual PC, it was pretty obvious that the program was indeed using a course-centric assessment process. It was also pretty obvious that the program was about to get a deficiency in Criterion 4. So PC began by reading the actual text of the ABET student outcomes. Let's call them SOs, and PC was quite impressed. Students who acquired those capabilities would be very successful, but PC could not quite parse the text of Criterion 4. The program must use appropriate documented procedures to evaluate the extent to which student outcomes are attained. Excuse me, but isn't the program a thing? Who then is carrying out these using and evaluating activities? PC could just not envisage how it all would work in practice. So PC decided to consult a program assessment coordinator from another department. How does your program do this continuous improvement thing? Alas, it turned out that this second department was also using the same course-centric assessment management system. However, the conversation did provide one interesting idea. I tried convincing my faculty to form SO quality circles, but they wouldn't bite. PC had a eureka moment. Faculty SO quality circles, what a great idea! PC had almost instant clarity on how it might work in practice. But most faculty would not deign to participate in a quality circle. So we should call them something else, like Faculty SO Oversight Committees. So PC convened a department meeting with the engineering faculty and pitched this idea of Faculty SO Oversight Committees. Although skeptical, nearly half of the faculty ultimately agreed to serve on one or more of the newly formed 7 Faculty SO Oversight Committees. So PC individually convened each committee and gave each committee 3 tasks. First, the committee was asked to read the text of its ABET student outcome closely, including any related definitions in the ABET accreditation criteria. Second, the committee was asked to identify 2 to 4 core mechanical engineering student capabilities consistent with the text of the student outcome. Third, the committee was asked to pick for each core capability a single assessment like a quiz or project that would be representative of the student's mature skill within the program. Having identified these key assessment instruments, assessment and evaluation procedures for this new CI strategy were worked out next. This is how the direct assessment procedure works. Say that the SO1 committee wants to use a fluids test as an assessment. PC informs Professor A that his fluids test will be used as an SO1 assessment. So after Professor A gives his exam, but before it is graded, PC selects 20 samples of confirmed mechanical engineering student work, makes 2 sets of copies, and returns the originals to Professor A. PC then recruits a second faculty, Professor B, to assess the fluids exam along with Professor A. The key idea is that both faculties separately and independently assess their respective copies of the quizzes and forward the results to PC. Then PC tabulates the results, including the average and standard deviation for each set, and provides this data along with any observations made by Professor A or Professor B to the Student Outcome Committee at their next meeting. This proved a very solid assessment scheme that the faculty actually respect. However, there are 7 committees and possibly multiple assessment requests for each student outcome. So PC had a great deal of assessment coordination to do. Indeed, PC had, in this activity, morphed by necessity into a program assessment coordinator. So now PC, as the program assessment coordinator, arranged to meet with the dean. The goal was to obtain approval to migrate from the computer-based assessment management system to the new CI strategy. PC began the meeting with the dean by touting the virtues of the ABET student outcomes. Students who acquire these SO 1 through 7 capabilities would be very effective. Oh my God, they drank the Kool-Aid. So can we beta test our new continuous improvement scheme? Sure. So with the dean's go-ahead, the SO oversight committees began working in earnest on specific initiatives relevant to their specific student outcomes. For example, the experimentation committee noted that an ability to develop experimentation was in the text of ABET Student Outcome 6. However, none of the program's curricular labs included an experience wherein students devised an experiment from the ground up. Alas, the remedy for this sort of curricular issue doesn't lie solely with the SO committee. The program coordinator needs to be involved because it's a curriculum matter. Any faculty who teach the labs or who are vested in lab curriculum need to be consulted. And because the resources and oversight to improve curricular labs ultimately resides with the department chair, he also is integral to the process. Consequently, this single SO6 initiative entailed an iterative give and take amongst all of these parties. So it turns out that the specific text of the ABET student outcomes served as a yardstick and as guidelines for the necessarily iterative evaluation and improvement of the program that was carried out by the SO committees. Recall a complex give and take to implement just the single SO6 program initiative as described above. And now multiply that activity by 7. It's never ending. That's why it's called continuous improvement. PC did eventually send a written description of the new CI scheme to ABET, who responded, "Looks good to us." So in conclusion, faculty are, of course, the heart of an engineering program and its curriculum. But the specific text of the ABET student outcomes 1 through 7 set a quite high standard for engineering pedagogy. Continuous improvement, on the other hand, is the apparatus the program devises and uses to nudge itself towards the high standard of engineering pedagogy enumerated in the ABET student outcomes. So, given our recent experience, should your program elect to tinker with its continuous improvement procedures, do consider faculty student outcome oversight committees. What a great idea! Thank you for viewing this video. I hope you enjoyed watching it as much as I enjoyed devising it. Specific implementation details for this continuous improvement regimen alluded to in this video are provided in the accompanying conference paper. Finally, I, no doubt like you, regret our collective lost opportunity to personally interact with each other in Montreal. So stay safe and be well. A bientôt.